Hello everyone, welcome to the Valley News Now desk. Duke Schindler joining you here on this Tuesday afternoon, and of course that means we got some Investigate TV on the dock here today, because as the prices at store outpace paychecks, more Americans are turning their spare time into spare change. So Investigate TV is going to examine a rapid rise in Americans forced to turn to a second job just to make ends meet. Plus, one woman's dream job turns into a nightmare after she says a person posing as a social media influencer locks her out of her accounts. We'll send it over to Investigate TV.
Today at Investigate TV Plus, for many Americans, working a second job is now a necessity.
Inflation is real. The cost of living has gotten more expensive, and people are recognizing that and responding to that.
We examine the factors drawing more people to pursue side gigs and the real cost of working overtime to make ends meet.
Plus, sometimes extra income comes with extra risk.
I hung up immediately, yep. And then I went into, panic mode.
We revealed the scam targeting entrepreneurs online.
As my follower count is going down, theirs is going up. So in real time, I am watching my account get drained.
Then we take you to the camp offering a space for kids to find a way to express themselves.
Raising a generation that's going to be more understanding and accepting.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus.
As the cost of living continues to rise for many, so does the need for multiple paychecks. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. It's a difficult problem, but one solution is catching on fast: side gigs.
According to a 2025 Lending Tree survey, nearly 40% of Americans turn to these supplemental jobs to stay afloat. And most of those side hustlers say they couldn't afford life without them.
Even those with full-time careers are picking up extra work, with food delivery and online freelancing ranking among the most popular ways to earn.
While side gigs can be an important safety net, experts warn managing multiple jobs can be grueling and unpredictable.
Reporter Heather Graff takes a closer look at why so many are choosing to hustle around the clock, putting finances first, but at what cost?
For nearly a decade, Laura Norman has been a teacher in Baltimore County.
A says ah, B says buh.
She specializes in English language development.
What's that moment like when you see it kind of really click with a student?
Is so exciting. You know, it's part of why we do this. It's really cool.
It's an important role, but Laura says the pay could be better. She makes a little more than $60,000 a year.
No one wants to feel like they are living paycheck to paycheck, or they have to constantly be checking how much money they have in their account to do the things they need to do.
So in 2023, to bring in extra cash, she started working as a house manager at a local theater on nights and weekends. A side gig she relied on even more the following year when she had her son.
And then it was like, well, you have to keep this job now, because everything is a lot more expensive.
But Laura says working an extra 60 hours a month takes its toll.
I'm tired all the time.
And she's already spread thin. She says her teaching gig is far from a 9-to-5.
You're working a ton of extra hours. You're going to meetings, you're working events, you're taking work home, you're planning, you're grading.
She squeezes in her second job where she can. Many days, that means heading straight from school to the theater. And on weekends, she often powers through double shifts.
You only have so much time to give to a second job, and then also give to your family and give to the work you brought home and maintain your house and all the other things that life requires.
Would you prefer to just have one job, one main source of income that covered everything?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it turns out Laura's not alone. According to a recent Lending Tree survey, 65% of side hustlers say they'd prefer to have one primary income.
There's all sorts of reasons why people are taking on side hustles, but the truth is that most of the time it's a matter of necessity.
Lending Tree's Matt Schultz says the reality is the typical day job just isn't cutting it for many Americans.
It's just kind of part of the American economy today.
In fact, a third of side hustlers say they took on supplemental work to cover cost of living expenses. And while they bring in, on average, an extra $1,200 every month, nearly half are spending at least 10 hours a week on their side gig.
That's basically an extra work day. While the amount of money that is coming in can be really substantial, it is really important for people to understand that there is a time commitment.
And according to financial expert Stoy Hall, that can mean sacrifices.
Do you think side hustles are a good idea?
In a very broad sense, yes. Of course they are, right? More money in, better for you in your life. But if you narrow it down, usually it's not.
Hall is the founder and CEO of Black Mammoth, a wealth management firm based in Iowa. When it comes to juggling multiple jobs, he says burnout is by far the most significant and overlooked risk.
Is it a side gig because you just need extra money and it's something simple? Well, that's awesome and all, but it's dragging you away from other things in life, other memories, your relationships, hell, even more time in your actual 9 to 5 that maybe could give you more money.
It is a long day.
Laura says she's all too familiar with burnout because she's lived it.
I have definitely experienced that, and I think I experience it more as a parent now. People have hobbies, people have passions, they should have free time, they should be able to relax too.
Even so,
The data consistently shows that more and more people are doing this.
Caroline Bruckner of American University says side gigs aren't going anywhere anytime soon.
I think inflation is real. The cost of living has gotten more expensive, and people are recognizing that and responding to that.
According to recent data from Bankrate, wages still haven't caught up with inflation since the pandemic-era surge in prices.
Would you say side hustles are more popular now than we've ever seen?
I think absolutely that is the case because the technology and the platforms has facilitated the ease in getting clients and selling goods and services.
Bruckner says it's unfortunate so many people feel forced to have a side hustle, but she adds there are benefits. For one, some side gigs offer flexibility that a full-time job might not.
Generationally, the perception of having autonomy over your schedule and being able to work when and how you want is something that is increasingly desirable.
She says they can also allow people to pursue their passions and make money doing it.
Having opportunities to create different avenues for earning income is a great thing. We want people to be able to support themselves and thrive.
I'm excited to go to that job too.
Laura says even though she needs her side gig, she's grateful because the work brings her joy.
I just feel very lucky to have a side job that pays me, but also I enjoy being there. I want to be there.
And if the experience and all its ups and downs has taught her anything, it's this.
I would strongly recommend it be something you love.
Still, she recognizes it's important to know your boundaries.
I try to balance it out with being really present at home when I am with him, but it's definitely hard.
Because as her little boy grows,
he's gonna do sports, he's gonna do plays, he's gonna be in stuff, and I want to be there for that.
She says you can't put a price on showing up for the big moments.
Good job, little buddy.
Now, before taking on multiple jobs, experts recommend doing your homework. To learn more, we spoke with Jackie Lamb, a self-employed financial coach based in Los Angeles. Lamb has decades of experience turning side gigs into sustainable income and shared a few tips for those looking to do the same.
I think the juggle is just trying to find the balance, right, of what type of work is flexible enough and what also I see as the threshold, right? The threshold to enter. So is this a side hustle where you have to put in a lot of time to learn? I think mixing things up depending on what you can do and what you're in the mood for is helpful. There's no one size fits all for sure.
Experts also say it's important to look for side hustles that fit into your life for the long haul.
When it comes to leaning into what you love, data shows that can be a big driver too. According to LendingTree's survey, 14% of side hustlers say they do it to pursue their passions, 22% to fill their spare time, and 15% to help others. So for many, it's not just extra work. In fact, most Americans who have a side gig say it improves their quality of life.
Still ahead, one woman's dream job turns into a nightmare after she says a person posing as a social media influencer locks her out of her accounts.
It felt like the equivalent of somebody coming into my shop, holding me at gunpoint, clearing out the register, stealing my business, all of my customers, and then shutting it down. and kicking me out.
We break down the deception and show you the warning signs to watch for.
Plus, the teen's traumatic experience prompts him to protect his community.
That was kind of the first moment that broke through to me and just kind of really showed me that it's possible to happen to anyone.
We reveal his mission to help save lives. When it comes to making cash on the side hustle has gone social.
A 2024 survey of Gen Z entrepreneurs found 44% rely on social media as their primary marketing tool.
A North Carolina woman who uses Facebook for her business says her side gig was threatened when a scammer locked her out of her own account.
Reporter Caroline Hicks explains what happens so you can spot this kind of con.
I photograph abandoned farm homes, neglected historic buildings, ghost towns, cemeteries.
Laura Stotts created her diary of abandonment on Facebook 9 years ago. A few months ago, she was just starting to monetize it.
Worked really hard to get there, and so it was a big milestone for me.
That all changed when she received an email invitation to be a guest on a Facebook Live event with another influencer. They set up a Zoom call so she could learn how it works.
The buttons that he's telling me to push are not there. I don't use Zoom often, so I'm feeling frustrated, thinking that I don't know what I'm doing. He's getting frustrated, and he says, okay, let's just switch the Zoom call to your phone. At that point, he had my phone number.
That's when he asked her to flip the phone camera around, showing him her account information on the computer screen.
I feel like there was something that popped up on my phone that needed me to accept something, but it wasn't like two-factor authentication. I would add these 2 new email addresses.
She was quickly removed as the administrator and lost all control of her account.
Oh, I hung up immediately, yep. And then I went into, panic mode, and I'm trying to do damage control.
Next, she watched as the scammer set up another page with the same title and stole her 218,000 followers.
As my follower count is going down, theirs is going up. So in real time, I am watching my account get drained.
Then her page was deleted.
It felt like the equivalent of somebody coming into my shop, holding me at gunpoint, clearing out the register, stealing my business, all of my customers, and then shutting it down and kicking me out.
She reported the hack to Meta and asked her followers to do the same.
They created a second fake page and then migrated my followers again.
These people study the operational processes of social media, and they study us, and they just know how to be one step ahead of us.
Cybersecurity expert Teresa Payton says this is a common scam.
They'll actually point you to credentials that are legitimate credentials of somebody else. A real podcast show, a real influencer, a real organization. And then they take over the account, and then they monetize the account.
Stotts had to start all over again, working to build up the following she lost.
Why are you sharing what happened?
I know how much it impacted me and kept me awake at night because I had just gotten monetized and was making some kind of decent money from it. I can't imagine what it would be like if it was my full-time gig. And this is what I was using to support my family.
We contacted Meta for comment about the story, but we did not get a response. The cybersecurity expert we just heard from says to be wary of any invitations you receive like this, even if it appears to be from a legitimate content creator. And as soon as someone asks you to show them your screen or share your credentials, that's a red flag.
Still ahead, a brotherly bond.
His favorite color is blue. Favorite animal is a gorilla.
We spend an afternoon with 2 brothers who have different abilities but share the same love of a blooming annual tradition.
But first, meet the teen who provides a life-saving medication to his peers.
I thought there has to be a more accessible way for everyone in schools to receive Narcan.
And hear about his crusade to end opioid overdose deaths.
Each week in 2022, the equivalent of a high school classroom's worth of students, about 22 adolescents, died of drug overdoses in the U.S.
But the latest numbers from 2023 show a slight decline in drug overdose deaths among children and teens.
According to KFF Health, one factor that may have contributed to that drop is increased access to the opioid overdose reversal medication naloxone, also known by the brand name Narcan. In Arizona, a teen was inspired to make the life-saving drug accessible to his community after an overdose hit close to home.
Reporter Michaela Castillo shows us how his efforts could save a life.
This is a photo Bennett Murphy took just before the first day of his freshman year. But what this photo doesn't show is what happened that year and the impact it will have on Bennett forever.
I had watched someone really close to me suffer an overdose, and that was kind of the first moment that broke through to me and just kind of really showed me that it's possible to happen to anyone.
Since then, with every little box, Bennett has dedicated himself to saving people's lives.
I thought there has to be a more accessible way for everyone in schools to receive Narcan. So this is the box. It's going to say emergency Narcan used in case of overdose.
Each one of these boxes Bennett has put together. It has brochures of how to identify an overdose, how to administer Narcan, and the Narcan itself.
A big part of the boxes is that they're able to be placed in multiple different areas across the school. This ensures that if a nurse is maybe out or, God forbid, doesn't know where the Narcan is, there's always going to be a pinpoint spot where anyone, regardless of their title in the school, is going to know where this Narcan is and how to use it.
Since 2017, Arizona has recorded 224 deaths and more than 1,300 non-fatal overdoses in people under 18 years old.
Know what you're talking about. That was really good.
That's why Bennett wanted to be part of that change.
I'm just able to lay back and think maybe what I've done today can save a life, and that's the most important thing to me.
Since starting in 2023, Bennett has distributed Narcan kits to more than 200 schools, homeless encampments, and recovery centers. He receives Narcan and monetary donations through state grants and the community.
Arizona does not require naloxone in schools, but some states do. As of December 2025, 8 states, including Texas, Illinois, Minnesota, and Oregon, require public high schools to keep naloxone on site for responding to overdoses at school or school-sponsored events.
We have a link to a video on how to administer Narcan should you ever need to use it to potentially save a life. Just head to InvestigateTV.com and search Naloxone Help. There you'll find more information about Bennett's mission to collect and distribute the medication.
Still ahead, we take you to a day camp open to all.
Autistic kiddos, they don't need to be separated out. They just need to be in a place where they're understood.
How this space offers an inclusive and immersive experience. To help people understand autism, author Sarah Hendricks compared our brains to computers, saying autism is not a processing error, it's a different operating system.
A day camp south of Portland, Oregon prides itself on inclusivity, welcoming kids and young adults with autism and other disabilities.
Reporter Nora Hart takes us to Camp Yakety Yak.
Just imagine this.
You don't have to spend much time with 10-year-old Max and 8-year-old Malcolm to realize these brothers are close.
His favorite color is blue. Favorite animal is a gorilla.
What about my favorite food?
Spaghetti.
Superhero?
Black Panther.
Yeah. And they are perfect brothers. They fight, they love each other, they have each other's backs.
So the boys were thrilled when they found out they get to go back to their favorite summer camp together. The boys' parents are also excited for camp because it's a place they can send both their kids for 4 weeks, knowing all of their needs will be met.
Max was
diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder.
Any parent who's been on an autism journey, it's about finding the language and the place for them to fit.
And Max doesn't just fit in here, he thrives.
He just wants to be involved. He just wants to be with other kids.
The boys are back for a second year at Camp Yakety Yak in Lake Oswego. And one of the biggest draws,
The fact that they take neurotypical children, like our youngest, Malcolm, and they allow them to be together, that is a huge benefit.
you'll find a beautiful mix of neurotypical and neurodivergent campers, from nonverbal kids to kids with Down syndrome, autism, ADHD, and physical disabilities, all sharing one common joy of just being a kid at summer camp.
Autistic kiddos, they don't need to be separated out. They just need to be in a place where they're understood.
Yes, please.
The day camp is a nonprofit that prides itself on its inclusivity for special needs kids and young adults 5 to 22 years old. With a focus on social skills, they call it reverse inclusion, following a model of roughly 80% neurodivergent kids and 20% neurotypical children, all sharing space and learning from each other.
So having them all together, I think that's, one of the most amazing things about this camp is that they do have siblings and friends who are neurotypical to have those behaviors shown.
And the modeling goes both ways, with neurotypical kids, oftentimes siblings of other campers, learning to be more understanding of those with differences.
Being immersed here, being immersed with his brother, and we realized we're kind of raising a little ambassador for how to actually talk to people with disabilities.
Another full day of summer camp in the books and memories made for these kids.
I also just like to be here.
And they're taking home something even more special that will last far beyond summer.
Raising a generation that's going to be more understanding and accepting.
What a wonderful place where all the kids can go and just be around each other and to understand each other.
I love those brothers there together, get to experience it together, be there for each other too.
Yeah, a lot of fun for the kids. Well, that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Tisha Pell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. Thanks for watching. On the next Investigate.
And thank you very much for joining us on this episode of Investigate TV. Make sure you got the VNN News app downloaded on all your smartphone mobile devices. You can find that on the App Store, Android, or Apple. As well as if you got a smart TV, like we have one behind us, Roku, Fire Stick, and Apple TV, you can get the VNN News app on all of those and never miss another Investigate TV or whatever we're working on here on the OTT desk, the Valley News Now desk. But thank you very much for joining us here on this episode of Investigate TV. For Duke Schindler, we'll catch you later.